Well, it's no surprise that during President Trump's visit to the upstate, security is a top concern. Take a look. You can see law enforcement on top of the roof right there. The sheriff tells me these two defendants tried to sneak in everything from as silly as candy to as serious as cell phones and knives. So the more a child is mentioned as missing over Facebook and platforms like that, the more quote-unquote points they get. Their best friend was shot and killed. And coming back to this park right behind me here, it holds a lot of memories for this group of friends. We talked to a lot of organizations from the upstate all the way to North Carolina, really trying to offer aid, something we know that they're going to need in the next few days. The deputies left this area just moments ago as they cleared the scene. We know that they are looking for 2 suspects, and certainly a heartbreaking day on this block here in Malden. And as you can see, this scene is still very active. Even as we reach the 11 o'clock hour, you can see the police tape right behind me here blocking off this neighborhood. We know the Gateway project's going on as well, and take a look. All of the debris from that project is just sliding down the side of the highway. Tonight, deputies continue to search for those 2 suspects in connection to this double shooting. Greenwood police tell us despite having a secure gate like this one, adequate lighting right above me here, as well as surveillance footage on this property, thieves still managed to get away with quite a bit. And it was getting pretty loud out there with all the excited fans. This is an event that so many people have looked forward to. We've been seeing tree lands like this one covering the area as well as all around this marina. Let me take a step out of the way because behind me is that bridge that you can see there where the concrete has completely separated itself from where you're supposed to be walking. But investigators say his phone hasn't pinged since then. And if you have any information, you're asked to call the Greenville Police Department. They say forms like these 990 forms are really helpful because it breaks down every cent a nonprofit spends. Not a site that any store owner wants to come walking into. In fact, take a look at this. Wooded boards are continuing to block the store entrance tonight, and right next to that, a note that we've seen many students read as they pass by tonight saying closed for repairs due to a drunk driver. Hundreds gathered right behind me here outside of the Peace Center, all of them wanting to share their own stories about how these next few months will directly impact them and those they love. And they say they all have their reasons why they think that Sheriff Will Lewis should resign. Now, it's all typed up right here in this resolution, especially after what I'm seeing here in Spartanburg County. It's just a mess out here. Take a look at that. An 8-ton truck just completely on its side. The tow truck actually just got here, and crews are continuing to work at this hour as there's still so many without power. And judging by that truck, you can tell just how high and powerful these winds really were.
Don't move.
When seconds feel like hours.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I'm right here. I got you.
Minutes of sitting in the middle of a storm, in the middle of a tornado, drag on.
I was thinking, God, I hope I see my family again. You know, that was my biggest thought.
This father and son say their drive around Spartanburg County is not one they would wish on anyone.
As I pull over to the side of the road, I felt the truck lift. And I reach over, I grab, push, my son, and I say, hold on. And then next thing you know, the lines come down.
Seatbelt. I'm going to pull you over to me.
The lights are flashing from the power transformers. They're all blowing. The wind is howling and screaming. I hear stuff pelting the side of the truck. Felt like it was being hit by bullets. It was so loud. And then next thing you know, the power lines come down. The truck slams down. Because I think the truck was literally in the air.
The truck slamming back into the pavement caused the window to shatter right on his 6-year-old son.
We'll get this glass out.
Yeah, that's a better idea.
The shattered window revealing to them a clearer picture of a downed power line wrapped around their truck.
I look around, and I mean, it's a disaster everywhere. There's these cars turned over, wheels in the air. I think, honestly, those power lines saved our lives, really. I believe that with all my heart.
Coming out the other side of this storm gives this upstate father a new appreciation for a safe ride home and a protected family.
I love you, buddy. We're right here. It's okay.
I have a lot, and I've been blessed with a wonderful family, and I'm really going to have to appreciate them a lot more now.
We knew this was coming. We beat the streets, we pound the streets every single day. We saw it. We knew what it was.
Law enforcement could see it coming, but Greenville County Sheriff Will Lewis says many didn't know it could get to this point.
Sometimes law enforcement is that intervention arm. We're the ones who stop you and find you with heroin and put you in jail, and hopefully that's a reckoning.
But as many have learned in the county and in the nation, jail is not that reckoning moment, especially for the opioid crisis.
And I'm listening to these doctors talk about how they do this, and it's fascinating to me to know what they have to go through every single time they write a prescription.
Doctors from GHS, Bon Secours St. Francis, Favor, Greenville Family Partnership, EMS, you name it, are getting the ball rolling in a program we told you about just a few months ago called GONE, Greenville Opioid Narcotic Eradication.
They are very much aware that there are prescriptions written, sometimes in overabundance, through the state, and they're dedicated to making sure that that doesn't continue by creating a new crop of doctors, the younger doctors that are coming out, making them aware of that potential problem so that they don't continue the possible trend.
Still in the beginning phases, the coalition hopes to curb the opioid problem. But in order to find a solution, the federal government is checking in.
Now that we're a HIDTA group, that opens up funding, that opens up manpower and resources for us here in Greenville that we've never had access to before.
The sheriff says the DEA has now declared Greenville a high-intensity drug trafficking area, a title shared by major cities like Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta.
Together with Atlanta being a HIDTA group and now Greenville being a HIDTA group, we're not that far from each other.
The Drug Enforcement Administration says there are currently 28 HIDTAs, which consist of 18% of U.S. counties.
Now you're seeing some of your federal money coming back to use here in Greenville, which is key. And I think that's a huge component that a lot of people don't really look at it that way, but now we're getting some bang for our buck.